What's up? So, today I'm going to be showing you guys how to land a rocket. Well, not land, but get a satellite in orbit around Mars or even one of the Martian moons in Spaceflight Simulator. This is one of my favorite things to do in the game. It's a lot of fun. It's challenging, but not too challenging. And it requires a kind of specific rocket, but the one I used here in this video is a really versatile rocket that I've made myself, and it can travel really to any other planet and set up orbit, and the fairings allow for a rover to fit in as well, which is great. And I have a design that includes a rover as well. So here we go. I am going to be starting the recording now, so here we go. Alright, so I turn on my throttle, just start up the video, and rocket has stages set up, so obviously turn it on, just your average rocket launch, nothing too crazy, just launching a rocket. So yep, turning. I like to turn a little bit more than it says in the specific thing there, and I don't notice I am at 0 on my boosters for a while, but now I turn them off. And yeah, so now we're just getting to orbit around the Earth, and this should be relatively quick. Now, on the map, we'll see that it's not too far from orbit, so once this stage runs out, we will do the burn that allows us to reach orbit. So this stage is now out, so we'll take it off and use the better rocket. I think it's called Frontier, a Frontier rocket. I might be wrong about that, but we'll see. So, yep, just turning. I take off my fairings here, I believe. Yeah, turning to face the direction and activating our rocket. So now we're going. I've edited this so it won't take too long for us to get into orbit. And once we are in orbit, that is when the fun begins. So we've reached low Earth orbit, and now you're going to want to go in the map and go to Mars. So click on Mars and select Navigate to. That will tell you when your transfer window is, and so you're going to want to fast forward until you reach the transfer window. There you can see Earth reaches it, and then you will be given a smaller transfer window in your orbit. So you're going to want to fast forward again, slightly slower. I go 100 times here. And once you reach that transfer orbit around the Earth, then you turn just like any other burn to reach an object that's not on Earth. You're just going to want to activate your rockets and go for it. So that's what we do here. You can see I've got some other things in orbit around the Earth, which I think is really fun to just set up satellites. I've been building a space station, which if you want I can showcase in a video, but right now, yeah, just the burn is happening, and soon, and soon we will see the thing happen. Like, I suck at this. Sorry, guys. Alright, so you're going to want to use precise, lower your throttle down, and once you reach it, you're going to want to go over to Mars. Sorry, I go to Jupiter there, but you're going to want to go to Mars on the map, and you can use RCS here. I just use my rocket, but turn on RCS. Actually, no, I do use RCS. So you're going to want to get it precise in there, and it depends on where you want to go, like what orbit you want to have. In this video, I show you how to orbit around Mars, and then I go to Deimos, and I go on the right side here, which is bad because it is not the direction of Deimos's orbit. So now I'm just orbiting, and you'll escape Earth's sphere of influence, and just fast forward. This part of orbital dynamics is just so fun for me, like watching stuff go around. It's just so fascinating. Anyway, so now we reach Mars. There's going to be a cut here soon, and this is another cool part of the sequence. So you're just like if you're going to the moon, you get to your lowest point above the planet or moon and turn facing the opposite direction. I feel like there's a name for this kind of move. There definitely is, but I don't know it. So, and then you're gonna want to activate your engines and just lower your velocity so that you end up in orbit and not and you're not gonna just fly out of the sphere of influence of your goal that you want to orbit around. And so this is another cool part that you'll see in orbit around the sun. It looks kind of funky as your orbit lines up more with Mars's, and it's really cool for me. But it also is cool because your orbit will start to curve. Is there a mathematical term for that? I don't know, but just this kind of thing is so cool. Like the orbits and everything in this game is so fascinating for me. So as this happens, well, now this is the really last thing you can do to get into orbit around Mars, and that is pretty much it. And if you're only looking to get into Mars orbit, there you go. I got you. So that is orbit around Mars, and just continue to burn at a... I lower my throttle down here, but you're going to want to raise it up as it'll slow and continue to slow. And I get into orbit between Phobos and Deimos here. And yeah, so that is how to get into orbit around Mars. But I want to get into orbit around Deimos. I've landed a rover on Deimos, which I think it'd be really cool to see that from orbit. And you can see my satellite here. And if you want to separate and just have your satellite go around Mars, by all means do that, but I don't do that here. So again, click Deimos, click Navigate to, and you'll get a transfer window. That's right. And so right here I realized my fatal flaw. Remember, I am going the opposite direction of Deimos' orbit. So as we fly towards Deimos, I noticed this and I'm like, oops. And realized that this is definitely not going to work. Maybe it might have worked if I started like slowing down here, but I really doubt it. It's just, this isn't going to work. At one speed, I'm still going incredibly fast compared to Deimos. And I'm just trying to, I ignite my engines and it's still doing nothing, so I'm just like, if this ever happened in a real life mission, everybody would be so like fired. But the key here is to just keep burning. Sorry, I kind of skipped over this part, but you probably won't have to deal with it, that's why. But you just keep burning until you get into your opposite way of orbiting. I can do a more in-depth video on that if that's of interest, but Deimos is just so small that its sphere of influence is tiny, and it's pretty hard to like do precise orbits, but it's just as if you're going to another planet or to the moon. It's same kind of thing. Go to the lowest part to the object. You see, we're even so close that it's like can't time warp, but your engines are so strong here in low gravity that you just have so little control. Anyways, so the key to getting into orbit around such a small object like this is to use your RCS to change your orbit, manipulate your orbit so that you are at the very highest point of it. Once you're there, you just want to activate your engines, turn off RCS because it really messes with orbits at this such precise level. But you're going to want to turn on your engines and keep the throttle low because, again, it's just such a precise thing. If you had it higher, you would just blast off into space. But now we are in orbit, and that's it. So you're in orbit. I detach my satellite here from my main rocket, and everything's good. I was afraid the Force was going to launch me off like it has before, but I'm alright. So, turning on the solar panels here, and that's about it. So, right here, I'm just gonna change a little bit, mess around with my orbit, and, yeah, so, this really works as a tutorial for any orbital trajectory, but I have a lot of fun going around these types of objects with just such a precise kind of amount of thing. And you might be able to see on the surface of Deimos there, my rover, it's super small, so probably not, and YouTube compression won't help with that either, but I use my RCS here to try to make my orbit a little bit more even, and you can just see how much of an impact it will have on your orbital trajectory here, and it's just incredible. Like, one little click can just completely ruin your orbit, and so you got to be careful of that. You don't want to go flying out into space, but even at 3 times speed here, you have time to correct, so just don't do anything irrational when doing this. But thank you guys for watching. This has been really fun to record, and I'm having a lot of fun, like, just having fun with this kind of thing. So, end navigation, and thank you for watching.